What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Fightful post show for Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. Tonight we had a heck of a show. As me and SP3 here were talking, that it really picked up in the last two matches. So, SP3, I want to first off say thank you for joining me. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing well because I heard, give me back my bullets. Oh, when I heard those riffs, when I heard the riffs of Leonard Skinner, it was a good night because it felt like old Ring of Honor again. And as everyone knows what I'm on Fightful, I come on here, I sometimes will guest appearance on the Ring of Honor show. I'm an old school Ring of Honor fan. So once I heard that give me back my bullets, I was like, okay, they gotta put the title on him tonight. So we are in celebration mode because Mark Briscoe was crowned the Ring of Honor World Champion. He did it for Jay. He did it for Jay. Jay looked down and he gave it to him. Jay Briscoe, I was there live 11 years ago, right in the Hammerstein Ballroom when Jay Briscoe defeated Kevin Steen in the most shocking title change in Ring of Honor history. No one in the building expected it. Everyone went wild. So to see Mark do it where it wasn't the biggest shock, it felt like this was the right time, the right moment in Philadelphia, where his career started, where he couldn't even wrestle because he was too young when Ring of Honor started, for him to win the championship here, finally win the big one. What a night. I'm happy to be here, if you didn't know already.
Well, I can tell you are very happy. And if you're tuning in, you're like, this is not the usual crew that's doing the Ring of Honor shows. Well, you're right, because Kate is actually at the show. She's doing the scrum. Reg is there as well.
Yeah.
So, and Joel, he did the SmackDown show. So they're like, you know what? We're going to go with Rob. We're going to give him a shot. So we're going to let the guy that does the Wrestle Kingdom show that nobody else wants to do in the mornings, we'll give him a shot. And I said, I'll sign up. And here I am. So the scrum notes will be coming through from Kate, if she's not in line for chicken tenders. So I love that. Even though she's a vegetarian now, I still like getting in those because it's all out of love. So any scrum notes, they will come through. But before we get going, what stood out the most out of the show for you? Did you just already talk about it? Was it Mark winning the title?
No, actually the big standout from this show is that Ring of Honor is where women's wrestling is at for Tony Khan Promotions, because the women were the standout on this show. I think other than Mark winning the ROH World Championship, which in the main event, it felt like the perfect ending to this show. That's going to be the main, talking point coming out of the show. But overall, the overall story of the show is that women's wrestling is alive and well, and so is a new partnership for AEW and ROH, or a rekindling of a relationship for ROH with the Stardom relationship, because those ladies, honestly, the pacing of the show was hurt by putting on those ladies too early, because they gassed out the crowd. It took a couple of matches for the crowd to get back into the show after the Stardom ladies stole the show early.
That they did, and man, it was fun. Like I mean, they stole the show, and then you had the crowd react with Mariah May coming out to it, and it was just good old time. We started with Ring of Honor 0 Hour. You know, they started that off with a couple of names that I was just glad they added them to the show. That way we got some decent names to the show. They added, that was good to just get people that you normally don't get to see on a weekly basis, and that goes a long ways with me, because I like seeing variety. I think most wrestling fans are like that. So, I mean, even though they weren't like long matches, which is fine because that's not what we're expecting. When we get a short 0 hour, we're expecting couple of quick matches. So, I mean, we started with Josh Woods, Tony Nese, and Ari Daivari, which was the with
premier
a quick, yeah, the premier athletes. Thank you. I was going to say the varsity athletes. Oh, that's not their name anymore. But anyways, they had a 6-man tag match with Tony Deppen, Rhett Titus, and Adam Priest.
Tony Deppen! Tony Deppen's back! Let's go!
Yeah, it was good to see him. And Rhett Titus, I always like seeing Rhett get some work in there. What do you think of this?
Oh, I thought
To set the tone.
This was actually a really fun 0 hour matchup. I thought that the premier athletes with their whole new entrance and new look, new logo, I thought it was a nice little refresher for them, and they seem like a new kind of trios tag team that they're going to get behind here, possibly. So I'm all I can be optimistic for now, but I'm hesitant to be too optimistic.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing, and it was. I'm hoping that they don't push it to the side. That's the thing. Like we've seen that happen before with this team or with these guys. So I'm hoping we see Tony Nese. I like Tony Nese. I'm a Tony Nese guy. Mark Woods is great. So I'm just hoping we get more of this, and I hope they go somewhere with it. So
I'm very high on Josh Woods. I think that he's one of the guys that they were kind of getting behind in the late stages of Sinclair Ring of Honor before Tony Khan bought the promotion, and he's kind of taken a backseat in the Tony Khan era of Ring of Honor, but they seemingly have something that they're getting behind, a whole new repackaging. I like how he's been working with Tony Nese. I like that little, I think they did like an angle slam into a neck breaker that I never seen before. Anytime I see something I never seen, I am all for it. And I like their finishing sequence with the double knees by Nese and Daivari at the end. So a nice little re-debut for the premier athletes. Now it's all about wait and see.
Yeah, and the scrum's about to get started there, so it shouldn't be too long. And then, like I said, Kate will send me some notes from that, so we'll get some new information as we go there. The next match was a guy that used to be known as the Taurus,
Black Taurus.
The Black Taurus, but now he goes by the Beast. Was it Mortos? Is that what they're calling?
Yeah, Beast Mortos. Yeah. Beast Mortos. Yeah, we had to change his name.
Yeah, it was that was something, and that was fun for Twitter for about 5 minutes, where people were that guy. I saw a couple people. That guy looks like Black Taurus. I was like, well, okay. And I'm like, there you go. All right.
He looks vaguely similar to Black Taurus.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. I think the best one I saw, and I wish I could remember who said it. They're like, so his finisher needs to be the rigor mortis. I was like, well, I'm like, I don't know how that would work, but good luck. But okay, sure. But this was a quick match. We knew exactly, like when he came out with that new name, I'm like, I'm sorry, Blake, you're gonna die. It was a good run for you, man.
Well, to be fair, I gotta give the shout out now to Joey Janela and Joey Janela Spring Break, because they had to work around some of the bookings on this show, and one of them was Blake Christian, because once I saw Blake Christian come out for this matchup, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Blake got double pay. He was like, he gets to work the 0 hour pre-show for the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and then he gets to run all over to Joey Janela's Spring Break and work the main event over there. So I was happy to see Blake here getting a double check, and it was cool to see Beast Mortos after we saw the reports that they were gonna have to change his name. And I've always liked Taurus's kind of moveset. He just has a ridiculous moveset, especially that finisher with the pump handle into the power driver, which always looks ridiculous whenever he hits it, and the top rope power slam. Like when I saw Blake Christian it looked like he was going for a Hurricane Rana, I was like, oh man, you're in the wrong spot. He's about to stand up and power slam you. And then he did it right on cue. I was like, oh, perfect. So Beast Mortos, always love him.
So why did they have this? I did not know. And usually I try to follow everything, but why did they have to change his name?
Well, I believe that AAA, I think he was previously with, they own the Black Taurus name. and
Okay.
he signed a deal with AEW because
Okay. Well, that would
his contract expired with AAA.
okay. Well, that would make sense, and I did not know that. So, and knowing it's half the battle, supposedly what GI Joe says. So, no, that's interesting, and so the name change that really came out of nowhere, and I know somebody asked. I saw in chat said what was the attendance. As of about 16 hours ago, WrestleTix said it was the setup was 2,900 tickets, and that was as of 16 hours ago. They had 340 left, so I'm sure they probably sold out or pretty close to it if they didn't, and they might have even opened more up. Who knows? So I'm sure they did pretty well.
Just over 3,000 probably.
Yeah, I would.
At the very least there. After the match, we did get Commander. He appeared and at the top of the ramp, and they kind of alluded on commentary if it was like a challenge or like a friendly wave. They did not determine. So maybe we're getting my long talked about on multiple platforms. Anytime Commander teams with Penta, they miss out on a great opportunity. They're the Lucha Cousins. So now we got Beast Mortos and Commander. They could be the Lucha Cousins. Then we get Phoenix coming back in a few weeks. We're gonna get the Lucha Brothers versus the Lucha Cousins. Oh my God, it's gonna be a great time.
Yes, way more than 600. So well played.
Well played. Well played.
Yeah. So,
Like I mean, since he made the reference and we highlighted a comment, I just want to say one thing. Wouldn't it be hilarious if the Kansas City Chiefs were talking about the New York Jets during Super Bowl week? Wouldn't it be hilarious? Like, oh, those losers over there. Wouldn't there be reporters and other people be like, why are y'all talking about them? They're number 2.
I don't know why anybody would talk about the Jets, but I mean,
but I'm just saying.
I know. I'm joking.
I had to make a team that's bad that I can relate to because I live in New York. I know the Jets is bad. I know the Jets is bad for multiple years. I've never been a Jets fan. I'm sorry. I only like one team and they win. That's the Yankees. Sorry. But yeah.
Number 2.
And yes, I am good after the earthquake. I thought my couch was vibrating, folks, because I was sitting on my couch when we had an earthquake in New York today, and I was like, "Oh, that was an earthquake! Wow,
man!" And God bless him. I've never seen so many John Tenta profile pictures come up today more in my life, and I got to admit, I like it. Shout out to the big man.
Let's go! We gotta celebrate John Tenta, and we gotta use the picture as a laugh because man, his Dark Side of the Ring episode made me sad. I was like, we didn't appreciate that man when he was around.
Hey, first main event that I remember going to, a wrestling main event that I remember. I went to one when I was like a little one, and I did not remember it. But the first one I remember going to, he was a main event. He was him and it was Big Boss Man. He was going under. It was one of his WCW 74 names that he had there against
Bubba
Sting
Rogers?
and Macho Man. It was either Bubba Rogers or one of the other ones. So, but yeah, it was against Sting and Macho Man. So I've always had a special like place in my heart for Mr. Earthquake John Tenta. So
shout outs to the fam. They got a sweet fam.
Yes. So we will move on to our next match. We had Angelico and Serpentico, the Spanish Announce Project, taking on Cole Karter and whoever the hell this guy is, Griff Garrison. Never heard of him. Sounds like he has a shot, though. This match, I had a feeling it was going to go the way when Maggie and I had our show today during our prediction segment. I said Garrison and Carter were going to get this win because they're a new team and Spanish Announce Project do what they're supposed to do, and they lay down for other teams. So this went exactly the way I thought it would. Not anything special. Did anything here stand out for you?
No. This was a bland Ring of Honor TV match. ladies and gentlemen, I was making that face because I was like, I love how Rob's trying to be nice. He's trying to be nice in the nicest way
Yeah.
possible. This was
Yeah.
here. It was here. You know what? I am proud of you and Maggie for even predicting this, because we predicted the Supercard of Honor card, and I completely forgot to even mention this matchup.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
it
not worth.
was.
It's not worth me predicting. I mean, it gave us a TV finish at that with Carter
Yeah.
and Garrison win. Like, it was a ROH TV matchup that I usually would just have on the TV while I'm doing something else.
Yeah. Nah. So, man, and then we had the last match for the 0 hour was Miss Mariah May taking on uh, Stardom's Kogo.
Momo Coco.
Yeah. So this match I thought was pretty solid. I mean, it was rather quick, but I knew going into it, it was depending on how much time was left, and I knew what we were getting, so I enjoyed it. What It was good to see Mariah May working with Stardom talent again. Like
Yeah.
so soon.
And this is someone that she has a history with, that they had a little rivalry in Stardom with each other. And they're two of the only women at the time when they were on the roster together on Stardom that could speak English. They provided the English commentary for All-Star Grand Queendom last year. Momo Kogo, I believe, did one match, and then she got hurt during the pre-show, and then Mariah May replaced her on that show. So they contribute a lot to that promotion. So it was a nice to give them a little showcase and preview what we were going to see on the main card from the Stardom girls. And I like that they have a little bit of a clash of styles where Momo Kogo has the speed and she just uses it as a difference maker to keep Mariah on the back foot, but Mariah can just overpower her with those strikes. She is very hard hitting. You don't expect a girl that, if you get a wrestling fan and put them in a time machine from 2010, they'd be like, why the hell is Kelly hitting everybody so hard? Like, you don't expect that. It's Mariah May is just a different type of performer. She has a different type of look for the style that she does in the ring, and it's just so great to see when she mixes it up with other Stardom talent. I thought this was a
Yeah.
good addition to the 0 hour.
Yeah. It was. And this is a question I have for you, because our good friend Chris Mueller, he made a point on his blog that he does for Bleacher Report. What do you think of Mariah May's sidewalk slam?
When she spins it, when she
Yeah,
spins around, I like it.
yeah. I was curious because I thought it was pretty good too. I
Yeah,
guess it's not. Yeah, it's a spinning sidewalk slam. So
yeah.
yeah, I think it's pretty solid too. And when I wrote that in my notes, because I was like, that is a pretty good point. So I just thought I'd
It's
see what you thought of that.
it's very similar to Osprey does it with like the spinning backbreaker, where he spins the guy
Yeah,
real fast. Like I like the move. I think it's cool, and especially when it's on like a smaller competitor like she was facing here with Momo Kogo, who always gets over with these crowds in the US. She did that at Resurgence last year in the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong women's tournament when she faced Willow Nightingale, and I think she did that here in a short amount of time against Mariah May.
yeah. No, exactly. And it's uh, I, I I'm just a fan of both of this match. I was just a big fan. But as we get started, we go into the actual pay-per-view now that the show starts, and we start with a banger, none other than Lee Johnson taking on Kyle Fletcher. And I was this is a match where I was going to be fine with whoever won because I like both guys. I really do. I like both guys a lot. Uh, we saw Lee Johnson. He's, in my opinion, he's just been getting better and better, which is good.
Yeah.
Kyle Fletcher, we already knew he was just an absolute stud, anyways. But I really didn't know what way they were going to go with this because I thought there was potential that you could kind of, with what's going on in AEW, there's been kind of a thing with Osprey and Callis. I could kind of see where Callis kind of gets pissed off at Fletcher type thing, and for losing, and basically kind of Osprey gets his boy, and there were a couple of different things that were playing it through my head on this. But first off, overall, what did you think about this matchup overall? What stood out for you? And
I just thought it was a really damn good opener to the show. I thought the crowd really kind of gave fuel to both competitors here. I thought that Lee Johnson, like you said, he's just been improving match after match, and you could see he's gaining that confidence at each and every time out, and he really showed that right here. He had a lot of poise and presence in a lot of different moments, and they just went fast pace, hard hitting action, high impact action, the different sequences. It was short on selling at some points,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
I'm not all for. And I don't think it always works with every competitor, but it worked here with the crowd responding to it in a big way. But man, the big takeaway that I got from this matchup is that Kyle Fletcher is really gaining that confidence of like,
Mhm.
I'm that dude. Like like there was a
Yes.
moment where he does that spot off the chair where he does the dive and the senton into the crowd on Lee Johnson, and he poses, and I was just like, Kyle Fletcher a couple of months ago wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have done the pose and seeking the crowd, get the crowd reaction, get that connection with the crowd. He's getting that confidence, working with the Will Ospreys, working with the Kenny Omegas, working with the Bryan Daniels, and like he's been doing on AEW television. That you're seeing the kind of the byproduct of that on Ring of Honor television with what he did in the Survival of the Fittest at Ring of Honor Final Battle last year, and then this match here was just a really great matchup, and I really thought it was Lee Johnson's best that I've seen from him in AEW or ROH.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And uh, Fletcher won it with the brainbuster like at the end, and I think one of the funniest things that I saw like during this whole match was the guy Trevor Dame with this tweet here, based off Kyle Fletcher's look. Kyle Fletcher more like Will Goth Spree.
Gosfrey.
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
That's pretty good.
well,
I
yeah,
did like the look. It was different. It was different.
different. It was very interesting, and but I think you said it best. I like that he has like more like charisma. He's more sure of himself, and
Yeah.
that's really good because when he's going to get his tag team partner back pretty soon too, I'm sure,
Yeah.
and I can see with him having this confidence, this could be really good for him too, like in AEW, because I could see him and his partner go on a tag team run, Davis and him, or um, yeah, I could see them going on a tag team run, uh, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a big player in the tag team division. I think, with FTR, the Bucks seemingly pegged for the finals. I think that if you got some free agents out there, that's a all-time team, and then you also add somebody like the Aussie Open to the tag team division, that might feel like the AEW tag team division is back again. We just got
Yeah,
to work on the ROH tag team division, but we'll get to that.
yeah. It
But
just depends if those guys don't want to, if they don't want to be there, if they don't want to be there full time, in another place full time because they might not be wanted. Um, Jesus
hey,
Christ.
you never know. You never know.
Hey, whatever.
But I think we got to talk about this next match because I've been wanting to talk about this one. Like I said earlier, it was the woman. The women had the night at ROH Supercard of Honor, and that started with the second match on the main card. You had Seira teaming up with Mina Shirakawa and the World of Stardom champion Maika to verse Tam Nakano, Saya Kamitani, and Azumi. My oh my, I knew this was gonna deliver, and it had a certain energy to the crowd where, like, once the match was announced, I was like, okay, this is them trying to do Tony Khan trying to do his version of the Dragon Gate 6-man. If you don't know the legendary Dragon Gate 6-man of 2006, the first ever Supercard of Honor, back in Detroit, was it Detroit? No, it was Chicago in 2006. They did the Dragon Gate 6-man that was one of the first 5-star matches for Ring of Honor. It made all those guys in Dragon Gate and made Dragon Gate in general a hot commodity over in Japan and made ROH a hot commodity at the time. I thought this was going to be a big showcase for Stardom, and it was exactly that. I felt that they put a spotlight on each and every one of these ladies. It was just fast-paced action that you expect from Stardom. For anyone who's not a Stardom fan, this was like a great introduction to everybody, because I actually watched this show with one of my friends who isn't a Stardom fan. He's a big AEW fan. He sometimes watches ROH, but he wanted to watch this show. And once Mina Shirakawa did her dance during her entrance, he was like, I'm rooting for her. He instantly became a fan because she just has jump off the page, jump off the screen charisma. She is my favorite Stardom wrestler. Shout outs to Scott E Wrestling. He's like kind of enriched my love of Mina Shirakawa and tell me the lore and the history of her. But in the ring, like, even though she's so charismatic, has this big personality, in the ring, she works exactly like Hiroshi Tanahashi. She will work down the leg. She's going to work over your leg ridiculous with dragon screw leg whips, figure 4 leg locks. But in the end, she's going to put you away with her finisher. That's what she did in this matchup. But everybody else was highlighted well, like Maika, who's like the queen of strong style, in my opinion, when it comes to Stardom, the World of Stardom champion. She's like the female Tomohiro Ishii. She had the moment where she did the double suplex on 2 women at the same time, showing her strength. Seira and Azumi going at it with their fast pace. Once my friend saw that, he was like, oh my God, they're faster than everybody. Like everybody in the ring. And they did the double kick bump at the same time. He's over here clapping like he's in Japan. I was like, he's having a good time. And then Saya Kamitani got a nice highlight. And Tam Nakano, I thought she was one of the MVPs of this matchup. Just A+ job from all the ladies and ROH and Stardom for giving us this matchup. In the end, it was Mina Shirakawa hitting the figure 4 glamorous driver on Saya Kamitani to pick up the victory. And then after the match, you have Mariah May stomp down to the ring. She gets in our former partner's face. Our former partner is asking her, why are you dressed like Toni Storm? But then she picks her up. They hug, they reunite Club Venus, they have some champagne as the winners, and we walk off. I thought this was a splendid matchup, banger. One of the best matches of the night is high-flying, hard-hitting, fast-paced, back-and-forth action. This was what Stardom is all about, and it felt important and significant because of the freshness of the AEW ROH partnership with Stardom. So that's my thoughts. I'm going to give the floor to you, Rob. What did you think about this one?
I thought it was fun, and that's the thing. Like, this was a match that I don't get to watch Stardom much because it just time wise it just doesn't work for me usually. But I enjoyed it. Like, this match was good. It was fast paced. Mariah May came out, and when she came out, that I remember her now with like, well, of course I remember Mariah May, but I remembered like her story wise and stuff like that. So it was good. It added more it made it more interesting for like next time. And then it did intrigue me to watch more Stardom now. And it actually, I was having a conversation with my friend who was at the time watching SmackDown and Ring of Honor too, and he was saying, I'm actually watching this more than I was watching SmackDown. And I said, same. And he goes, he said, I just did this because it was $10, and I thought I would have paid $10 to watch Kingston and Briscoe already. So he said, I just did this. He goes, this is fun. This is worth it. He goes, just these first few matches. And hey, you know what? Tony Khan got at least one person out there, at least one, to watch us who did not know what they were getting. So it worked for at least one person, and if it worked for him, I know it worked for thousands of others. So I think they did something good there, and it was good. It was entertaining. It was an entertaining match. The only thing that I was kind of The only thing that I think might have been a drawback was there was a lot of standing around.
Or you
Where
mean for
just
the dives?
yeah,
Well,
that was
that tends to happen with the Stardom matches. I think I'm numb to it because I've watched enough Stardom matches, and even and with New Japan Stardom, I don't always watch the tag team matches, but yeah, I do notice that there is a lot of standing around for the wait and dive, but I don't really
yeah.
kind of pay any mind to that
But
really.
I mean, it didn't like bother me to the point like like I still
Yeah.
would give this a like. I mean, I would probably give this match still a B plus or B minus B plus somewhere in there, like because I enjoyed it, and that's what
I
matters. If I enjoy it, that's what matters. So
I enjoyed this more than the opener, honestly. I thought the opener, like I said, was a really good matchup, but I thought this was great. I thought this was a great showcase, just a straight up banger from these five ladies, just fast paced action, just what you would want from Stardom. And I thought that like people like Mina Shirakawa, Tam Nakano, and Maika probably got people to be interested in them individually as well in this, which is always hard in these multi-woman matches, multi-man matches. So the fact that they were able to be spotlighted and shine in their ways, I thought that was really good as well.
yeah, guys, do us a favor, help support the show with super chat or a humper chat. It goes a long ways. Just by supporting the show, it just lets Fightful keep on doing fun stuff like this. But we will go ahead and move on to our next match. It was the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. The Infantry challenging the Undisputed Kingdom's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Man, I was rooting for Carlie Bravo and Shawn Dean, man. I like those guys, and Trish Adora was there. I was hoping these guys would win because what I told Maggie earlier, I thought Wardlow was going to kind of cause an issue. Not like per se, it went the other way around. I thought Wardlow was like they were going to move this up a little bit for AEW purposes to kind of piss off Adam Cole some more. I thought this was a way to do that, but oh well. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Matt Taven guy. I had to sign a contract with Maggie to make sure that I'm a Matt Taven guy. Um, so, but anyways, I enjoyed this match because I'm a big fan of the Infantry. I wanted them to win though badly, but it is what it is. I like this team. I liked everybody involved in this match. Uh, what did you think of this? Because
Uh, I'll be
I
honest, it took me a little bit to get into it because the last two matches were so great. Like I was like, it's gonna take me a while to get into this one. But I thought by the middle of the matchup, they got a nice flow to it. They started adding like the big plunder spots, like the big splash off the stage into the table. I thought that spot was really good. But it felt like when they were gaining momentum and they was bringing it up, that you do kind of a flat finish, a TV title match finish, in my opinion, with Wardlow coming out, not even hitting his finisher. He just came out, hits a clothesline, and then Bennett just puts his arm over the guy and gets the win. It's like, damn,
yeah
he couldn't even kick out of a clothesline? Like,
yeah
damn, you couldn't even let him kick out the clothesline and then Bennett hit his finish and then get the win like that?
yeah, and I mean, hey, I had the right idea. Like for a second, like when we were doing our predictions, like earlier, I was telling Maggie, I'm like, this is what I think happened. So when Wardlow came out, I'm like, okay, I might not look like an idiot here. I'm like, and then of course I'm like, well,
Now,
reality set in,
I,
and
I didn't think they were gonna do the Warlow kind of costing them that
well,
soon because they gotta do the story first of Warlow actually helping them because they had the tournament matchup for the AEW World Tag Team Tournament and he wasn't nowhere to be found. I was like, y'all just did the promo where you
yeah,
said he gotta help them win, but I guess it's for titles that they already have.
well,
It's not for new
yeah,
titles that they could possibly win. So
well,
he shows up here, they retain. I'm fine with that. And I
yeah,
think that it's gonna progress the story a little bit better. I think we're gonna lead to the point where Wardlow does accidentally cost them, and then they turn on him, and it's MJF that makes the save for Wardlow.
Ugh, that's gonna be weird. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, I just thought, like, from my standpoint, I was thinking, like, with Adam Cole, like, losing his shit on him a couple of weeks ago. Like, I'm like, just kind of like, just overbook it right now. Let's just make it confusing. That's what I really thought was going to be going on. But
Nah,
I guess we'll.
it's already trash. You don't want to make it
Whoa, yeah,
worse.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's not
It's
good with
yeah,
Undisputed
it,
Kingdom. It's not
it's
good.
yeah,
So let
it's a
them
dumpster fire.
let them tell their story, whatever
Yeah,
story they want to tell. Let's not try to like, oh,
yeah,
let's rush to the end of it. No, no, no.
no,
Let them tell whatever story they're gonna do, because whatever story they've been telling, it hasn't been good yet. So I'll just be like, all right, go ahead, do whatever you're doing over here.
it's that like it's like that gif that we see with the rolling dumpster or the dumpster fire, like in the flood going by, and all it is just that storyline just going right on by, and
And
then I'm
and
just trying to throw some lighter fluid into it, I guess. I don't know.
And because more people are going to see this, and possibly even the wrestlers, I do want to make it clear. I liked everybody in this matchup. I'm a huge Matt
Yeah,
Taven fan. Taven gave me my
yeah.
shirt, told me buying his shirt would get me my girlfriend, and I met my missus that I had 2 kids with a year later. So Matt Taven I will always have that connection. I told
Oh,
him that when I interviewed him when he was a part of the Impact Wrestling roster. I told him that story as well. Mike Bennett, I've seen him since he started in Ring of Honor. I've always been a fan of Mike Bennett. He's one of the sweetest, most genuine guys out
yeah,
there. And the Infantry are just so funny, so charismatic. I like the fact that they've been getting a little bit of shine and some opportunities on AEW TV. It just followed a better matchup, and it took a while for the crowd to get into it. And I thought the finish was just booked not well. It wasn't well
yeah,
laid out, and it didn't benefit the Infantry. I thought the Infantry, the way they lost, they don't come out of it looking as good as they did going in.
yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't. I've never like will never have I, nor will I ever rip the wrestlers. It's the storyline.
Yeah.
So, um, so they're not dumb.
I,
Um,
I always got to specify, because
yeah,
people will clip one part and just be like, "Oh,
no,
you said this," and I was like, "I'll be
no,
like, all
no.
right, I said right after that this."
Yeah, no, no, I'm not that way either, because yeah, there's no way in hell I'd be that way, because they're doing stuff that I can't even do, like in a
Absolutely,
swimming pool. So
I respect the
like,
hell out of all the
yeah,
wrestlers. My
yeah,
complaints are always about either the booking or decision making.
yeah, yeah. That's
It's
what
never
it comes
anything
down
to
to.
do with the wrestlers,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, and that's what it always comes down to, and that's what I wish people would understand on Twitter. Um, but that's a whole different show. Anyways, let's move on. Uh, that Spike pile driver on the ramp was nasty, though.
Yeah, yeah. That looked good as well. Like I said, it got really good down the stretch, and then they're like, all right, we're just gonna have Warlow come in and do a clothesline for the finish. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's weird.
Well, we move on to the women's TV title, Billie Starkz and Queen Aminata. This match, well, I was enjoying this match, and then the ending. Um, yeah,
What do we say that? You said you don't you said that like you didn't like the ending, Rob. Why?
I I did not like the ending. Story wise, I did not like the ending because everybody was uncomfortable. Were you
Mhm.
uncomfortable? Because I think everybody was uncomfortable because I could hear pin drops. I could,
Yo, the whole arena, the entire
yeah,
arena was like, oh. Like, it was like a sigh and then complete silence.
yeah,
But you know, I
yeah.
forget sometimes. What's the name of the channel that I'm on, Rob?
You were unfightful.
You know, I'm on
Oh,
Fightful right
true.
now, but what's the one I'm
Yeah.
usually on?
Oh, True Hill Heat.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you know why? Because I was like the entire arena. I was like, oh no, when she waved the referee over. But then when they did like the camera shot at the announcers and then went to Queen Aminata, and then I was like, wait, they ain't ring the bell. I was like, that broke it for me. That broke it. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get worked. I'm not getting worked here.
No,
I'm not getting worked. They didn't ring the bell. This ain't over. I was like, I've seen it. I was like, I can pinpoint the instance that something like that happened and they instantly run the bell was Kota Ibushi in the 2021 G1 Climax final against Kishiko Okada. He hit the floor. He hurt his neck. They rang the bell instantly. It was over. They got the doctors in there to check on him. If it was real, they would have rang the bell. Then they would have done everything they did. They did well to sell it and to make everybody at home believe. And the people in the building instantly believed it because she's holding her neck and calling it over. You don't have a good view. You're going to think it's serious at the time. I'm sorry. They got everybody. I enjoyed the hell out of this. I love this ending because it went from injury stoppage, injury scare to a confirmation of a heel turn that they've been teasing for the past 4 months. So I enjoyed the hell out of this because it also sets up Aminata for the journey to chase the title and become the second Ring of Honor Women's TV Championship. I have no complaints. I love heel heat. This was great for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So well, I will say this. I won't say who it got in the Fightful employee chat, but it got a couple of people not named me. But it was something because I'm just sitting there. I'm like, well, first off, I go, they do the same thing WWE does. They throw up the X, so that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But when they started zooming in for a split second, I'm like, okay, they're zooming in. So now I'm kind of for a split second, I was like,
that's why I'm giving them credit because that was a good call because that sold it. That made you believe at home because the live crowd, they believed it. Hook, line, and sinker. Once she calls over the ref, the live crowd hooked it. But you at home, you're always going to have that skepticism in the back of your head. And the way they shot it, the way the production, that was great job. Like I'm sorry. I think I've been watching wrestling too long and I'm just numb to stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I'm numb to companies doing this when it's not really the right time. And especially because it's Supercard of Honor and you literally had someone get injured last year. I can understand if someone did not like this ending, but it's because I'm numb to all of that. I think I loved it.
Yeah, no, and I get it. Like I do. And you're right. Some people liked it. Some people were fine with it. Like I'm fine with it. I just thought it was like, okay, well, that's a question. I'm like, if that's what you think was best, go ahead. And I do like your point. Aminata, like now she's going to be pissed, or like even more. And Billie Starkz. I like Billie Starkz, man. She's awesome. She's a good person. But
I'm sorry. What really sold it for me was the look on her face when she has her in the sleeper and she has a neck brace on and she says,
"Yeah,
so happy."
Yeah,
that sold it for me. I was like, "Oh, this girl was born to be a heel. This is great."
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, and that's a great thing. Like with Billie, like I'm glad they put her with I was gonna say Ember Moon,
Athena,
Athena for a while because I think that did wonders for her. Like I do, and it was good. It was entertaining, and
I thought the match before the whole finish was really damn good. Like they had some good near falls. Aminata hitting the air raid crash that she's pretty much beat everybody else in ROH with. That was a great near fall. Starkz hitting all her big moves in this matchup. They just really went out there and just had a hard hitting fight, going out with the chops on the outside and stuff like that. Nice little brawl on the floor. They put in work before they did that finish. But the finish is what sold the match for me. I might rate. I don't know. I don't know about the match, but that was a 5-star finish for me.
Yeah, that was good, and I like it. We have a new neck strong character here, so they can take over the gimmick. Yeah, God, I would do anything. I would pay good money if we get to see Billie Starkz on the next Ring of Honor episode, just walk up and just yell, Athena! Just, just keep it going. Just let's keep it going.
I want her to still wear the neck brace.
Just one, just do it like one time, maybe just to pop the boys, just just do it once, just to maybe out of the blue, even if it's not like right away. But we'll move on to our next one. The 6-man open challenge. Bang Bang Gang. Open contract.
Guns up!
Yeah. When I saw Monster Sauce come out, I knew exactly I knew right away who their partner was.
Me too. Me too. I did too.
Yes.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Once it
Murder
hit,
Grandpa.
I was like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
I was like, this made this random 6-man tag team title match a lot more interesting. And that became the story of the matchup was Suzuki versus Switchblade. I love it. Yeah. That was great. Great decision, Tony.
And exactly. And I was gonna say, what made this stand out for me more was them not promoting this. I think it stood out more by just giving us a surprise, because wrestling fans love surprises, and this is a good surprise because we all love Murder Grandpa. We do, and Lance Archer. We all like Lance Archer. It was just a fun match. It was.
It's a double surprise, because the first surprise of the Bang Bang Gang is like, yeah, it's a surprise, but it's like, yeah, you're kind of supposed to be here. You're the ROH 6-man tag team champion.
Yeah.
So that was a nice surprise. And then, Lance Archer and Alex Zane, Monster Sauce. We never really seen them together in AEW. We've seen them in New Japan and other promotions, but never in AEW together. So I like Archer doing the little promo to introduce Zane. And then the Suzuki, yeah, I was with you. I 100%. I was like, it has to be Suzuki, right? Yeah. And then the music, I was like, yeah, great. Yeah. Tony felt so good. He wanted another Kazaninare. He made the song go through the second verse. He wanted another Kazaninare. He was so happy. But
I was happy.
I thought it was a fun matchup, and I needed this. I needed this as a palate cleanser for the booking malpractice that they did to my boy Jay White on Dynamite this week.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm still mentally scarred. Like I went to one of those Diddy's parties by watching Jay White versus Daddy Ass. Watching my Jay White, 31-year-old Jay White, who's one of the best heels and best characters, best workers in AEW, have to bump and sell for a 61-year-old, and the whole basis of it, the whole reason that it makes sense to some people is, oh, he broke into his house. No, he didn't. His sons walked into the house with keys and brought a friend and did not destroy anything, did not break anything. They threw out protein powder. It was probably bad powder. It was probably old powder. Why are you so upset? Why are you so upset that we have an 11-minute and 39-second matchup that he dominates 11 minutes of it? Yeah, stupid. Exactly. I needed a palate cleanser. It's glad to see Jay actually wrestle a wrestling matchup with an older wrestler who actually sells for him. It was great to see. Thank you, Suzuki. Yeah. So give some tips to Billy Gunn while you're at it.
This match was fine though. It was good. I mean, I liked it. I liked the surprise match. It was good. Yeah. So I definitely would. I enjoyed it, and Suzuki had a great reaction. The Guns controlled the crowd really well, as well. So fun match. Dalton Castle taking on Johnny TV. This match.
Oh, you didn't even say. You didn't even mention after the matchup. You had to get the Acclaim and Daddy Ass to try to beat up the Bang Bang Gang, but Tony and the rest of the booking committee was like, we're not gonna make SP3 grow more gray hair. We're gonna at least let Jay White get a hit in, and he laid out Anthony Bowens with the Blade Runner before Bullet Club Gold ran off. But I was fine with this because of how it ended. But I needed a break from the Acclaimed and Bullet Club Gold after Wednesday.
Yeah, and you're right. I did skip it because I forgot because it was worth forgetting.
Yeah, fair.
God, it. I'm ready for this feud to just move on. Let's get the Acclaim with somebody else. Let them feud with somebody else. I don't know. I'm just ready for them to move on because I want to.
Hopefully that's a dynasty. They unite the ROH 6-man and the AEW trios titles. Do that while you're at this. At least have a point to all this.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we'll move on. Dalton Castle, Johnny TV. Johnny TV had. This was a good one. I thought I enjoyed it because it's just pure pandemonium. I think I liked it so much because Paul Walter Hauser came out and he's wearing a shirt from Wrestling Revolver, organization I just absolutely adore. And I know that he lost the boys this week, but he gained about 16 other ones in this match. That was this was very interesting with everything going on. I was paying attention a lot to what Dalton was saying. I was trying to see if there were any inside messages. I didn't catch anything. Did you catch anything or anything like that? Because I didn't see anything.
No, I did not catch
Like,
anything, and
yeah,
I'll be honest, I'm not too surprised if
yeah,
there was not anything because
yeah,
of stuff I've heard between
yeah,
Dalton and the boys. Like, I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised.
yeah. That's
But nah.
yeah. Like that. I think it was so ridiculous. That's why, like, towards the end of it, I was just like, "This is just." I'm like, "Okay, who else is coming out? Who else is coming out?" And then when it was Paul Walker Hauser,
I was fine with Paul Walker Hauser being there, but like that was too long for
oh, it was
it
way
being
too long.
so obvious. It was so
Yeah,
obvious once he came out. Why didn't he have
yeah,
to stand in the ring for like 3 minutes before we revealed who he was?
yeah.
And
That
then
was.
and then commentary said who he was before he revealed who he was.
Yeah,
Oh my god, it was I'm sorry. I did not like
yeah.
this matchup. This
That
matchup
was no.
this
The
matchup
matchup
was
was.
this matchup was going fine until 15,000 boys came out and none of them could do dives on them. Like there was like 2 guys who could do a dive and everyone else failed to do a dive on Johnny or Johnny failed to catch them on the dive. Either or. Oh my god. And then the last one, we just fell and then Johnny had to really kick him. Oh my god. Thankfully you had Jack Cartwheel become a boy to end that sequence a little bit better, but
Yeah, that
I wanted
that
to
guy,
like this a lot more than I did.
that last guy. I I honestly like my thing was like, oh, I'm like that's pretty sweet. They're gonna. I'm like, man, he's. They don't have to make. He, they're not. He's gonna make it on. Oh damn! I forgot the name of the show, but what's the one where God the Botchamania? Like he doesn't have to edit anything. He's good to
No,
go.
no, this
He's
that
good.
that whole sequence of the boys dives was Botchamania gold. That was a
Yeah,
treasure cove. That was a
that was
treasure
just like
cove
a
for Botchamania.
that was a tribute. Like he doesn't have to edit anything. He just gets to just here. They're like, we'll just do this for you. You take a few minutes for yourself. Hey, go watch some Simpsons clips. You'll be good. Enjoy it.
Hey,
That's
once again,
exactly what happened there.
and once again, I'm gonna specify. I really, really am a big fan of Dalton Castle. I've been
Oh
a
yeah,
big fan of Dalton Castle since he started off in Ring of Honor. I was there in the old days when he was just starting off, just getting over with the boys. And I know the the boys, the Tate twins. I know them personally. I got to hang out with them. Johnny TV, I love Taya as well. I
yeah,
like all the people here. Like I said, I
yeah,
really wanted to like this matchup, but it just felt like after the boys sequence they were trying to get the match back on track, and they never could really get it back on track. The finish was fun with the thumbtacks and stuff. The bangarang on thumbtacks that had to hurt, taking a chest bump into thumbtacks, never something nice. And they took a lot of bumps in this one. I thought the nice little power bomb on the outside through the table was a fun spot, and Johnny doing the little cartwheel off the top rope into the Apollo Boys was a nice spot. So there was nice moments in the matchup, but it just felt like it fell apart.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was just, again, like I said earlier, it's never the wrestlers that I have a problem with. It was just like, what are we doing here?
This is overbooked. Just a tad overbooked.
And I'm a big fan of Dalton Castle. I'm a bigger fan of his brother Aladdin, because I used to spend a lot of money in his places in the mall. Aladdin's Castle. That joke failed, but anyways,
should have went with Eureka. His sister Eureka.
There you go.
But make it even an older reference.
Man, I'm like, that one failed like my Timberwolves did tonight. So that's good.
Well, there you go. You brought it back. You made it active.
Yeah, there we go. Jesus, lose to the Suns by 26 points or something like that. My God. Anyways, let's go to our co-main event. The Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, Athena defending her title against...
I did want to mention that before the Dalton and Johnny TV matchup, I was like, oh my God, there's 3 matches left. What time is it? I was like, what time is the show gonna end?
Yeah. Hey, I was pretty much almost spot on with the time when I was figuring out. I'm like, this. I'm like, okay, let's add this. Okay, it's Tony Khan doing a pay-per-view, so I got to add 10 minutes to this, and then you gotta carry the 5 over. So I'm like, okay, let's go with this. So, yeah. But the co-main event, Hikaru Shida challenging Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship title. This match was fire. Man, I enjoyed the hell out of this match. I think everybody did. There was points where going into this, I thought Athena was going to win. Obviously, that was who I had winning. And then there were points where it's like, man, I can actually see Shida winning this. And then it just went back to Athena. I'm like, yeah, they're not going to take this title off of her, because she's going to get win number 50, I think it was. So they got to keep this. They got to keep this title on her, and they did the right thing. This match was awesome, and I'll tell you what, these two have potential to give us a hell of a series. If these two could have a program, one of these feuds for a while, I hope. And it doesn't have to be they don't even have to really feud. Anytime you put them in a ring together, I would be fine with it. That's how good this match was. And I enjoyed the hell out of this match. What did you think?
I thought this was a stellar ROH Women's World Title match in a run of stellar ROH World Title Women's World Title matches on pay-per-view. I thought Athena and Billie Starkz was an instant classic at Final Battle. I thought Athena and Willow at Death Before Dishonor was a great first women's main event in Ring of Honor history. But this match here was just different. This was a real kind of a war of attrition between these two women, and it just seemed like anything that Athena hit, it just wasn't enough to put Shida away. And this was a very toss-up type of matchup where down the stretch, especially when Shida hits the big move off the top rope, she hits the Falcon Arrow, then hits the Katana. I'm thinking, oh, that's it. There was a couple of times in this matchup where they really got me, and I was like, oh, Shida's got it. It's over. The run is over for Athena. They really got me, and this is 3 straight pay-per-views where they got me to believe that the person was gonna beat Athena for the title. I thought Willow was gonna beat her at Death Before Dishonor last year. I thought Billie was gonna do it at Final Battle, and there was instances in this matchup that I was gonna do it, and that's the mark of an all-time great champion, is that you can have a 400 plus day reign and you can still keep me on the edge of my seat. I don't know when this run is going to end. That's the key to the long runs. The long runs, how they do it in WWE, aren't always how it works. It feels too much like a foregone conclusion. Where this is the type of long run that I like, where you can go down the stretch and 6 months into the run, it feels like multiple title matches she's had where it feels like the other person was going to win, but she pulls it out in the end. And it's like, who's next? Who's going to be the next one? Who are they going to bring up? Who are they going to have from AEW to come on over? Who are they going to have from Stardom possibly to come on in to verse Athena? Or Athena showed up in Tokyo Joshi Pro earlier in the day. Maybe it's somebody from that promotion coming over to AEW and ROH to challenge Athena. I thought this was an excellent matchup. Athena is right up there with Bryan Danielson's world title run, Nigel McGuinness' world title run, Samoa Joe's world title run. That's really now, it feels like that's the new Mount Rushmore of title runs in Ring of Honor history. It's Joe, Nigel, Bryan, and Athena.
Yeah. I did like Nigel taking that shot at Bryan too, by the way. Like,
with Homicide?
Yeah, I did like that. He got that in there. I was like, okay, he's got to get this in there one way or another. When he was bringing it up, I'm like, he's gonna get a shot in at Danielson, and I'm just like, get it in there, get it. Yes. So perfection. That's what I wanted, and he got it in there. But this match was unbelievable. I thought it was. I mean, it was all you could want and more, in my opinion. If I thought it was worth $10 by itself, like if you were going to say, well, if I'm paying $10 for a pay-per-view, like what match do I think is going to deliver? That would have been the match I think that would have delivered. I honestly would have thought.
I was gonna say the only thing I could say, like, to nitpick it, is that I think that if it was on earlier in the show, it would have had a better crowd to it. I thought that was the only thing, that the crowd felt kind of fatigued, but they got into the near falls and stuff like that. Like I said, they got me a couple of times and they got that crowd, but it felt like the crowd was trying to regain some energy for the main event.
Yeah. So I'm just looking to see if there's anything that's going on through the scrum, since I did not get any DMs from Kate. Nothing's really stood out. Tony was asked about the AEW Stardom relationship. He said their relationship with Tokyo Joshi Pro. Tony says they're both great relationships, and he has a lot of respect for both, and it's recently increased. Suggests their wrestlers could defend over there and vice versa. They didn't write this in there, but I'm sure Tony said, "Thank you for asking this question." That's my favorite.
Thank you for asking that question. That's excellent.
Yeah. So, and I mean, there's probably a lot more, and I know we'll have it covered, but there's just so much going on, and I know Mark Briscoe. He said he's gone through insane grief in his life. Jay losing a friend, and the health scare with his baby boy. He's handled it all in the public eye with as much class as I've seen. He's never gotten the full credit he's deserved living in Jay's shadow. He's happy for him now. I think that was I think that might have been Eddie that said that. I'm not sure. So if somebody could tell me who said that, that'd probably help, because maybe that was just somebody social commentating. I don't know. But yeah, very interesting. Like sometimes these scrums, they get these wrestlers like just at the right time or the wrong time, as we've seen in history. And I like them. I like the scrums, but man, like I just can't imagine what Briscoe's going through or thinking tonight. That's got to be tough.
Yeah, for sure, man. He's probably filled with emotion, having the whole family there, but it kind of feels like it's more of like a celebratory thing and something they're doing to celebrate Jay.
Oh
as
yeah.
well. So I like that.
Yeah, for sure, and deservedly so. So that brings us to the main event, guys. If you have any super chats you want to get in there, please do get your question or statement read on the show. It would greatly appreciate it. We would greatly appreciate it. Before we move on to the main event, we know it's WrestleMania weekend, so I'm going to go ahead and ask you, SP3, what match are you looking forward to the most at WrestleMania?
Okay. Um, the most is probably The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody and Seth, only because I think that The Rock has been the best character in professional wrestling, and he's the person that's kind of been the lifeblood to take this whole thing that WWE's this Renaissance era that they've been on to the next level. And the final boss character is not even a return to form; it's something completely different from a guy that's been in this business for over like 4 decades now. It's crazy. But outside of that one, I think the match like in ring I'm probably looking forward to the most is Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. I think that's going to be probably the greatest women's match in WrestleMania history.
Oh, wow, cool. The I agree with like your take on the Rock Roman tag match. I think that match is going to set up the main event for it to just be overbooked as hell is what I want
Yeah.
it to be, and that's what I want more than anything. Um, I want I want surprises. I want everything to happen. Um, but I think other than that, I I'm very curious about this Rollins and McIntyre match, how it's going to play out because we know Punk's going to be involved now, like either on commentary. I know he's still going to do something. Does Damian Priest cash in? We don't know. So that plays a big part in me. But I'm very excited for this weekend. And since I already asked about Mania, I might as well ask, what about NXT Stand and Deliver? What are you looking forward to for that?
Oh, that's easy. Trigger Mello. Trigger Mello about to make history. That's the obvious pick for
I,
me.
s- I set that up for you. That was like throwing the
That's the
easy
easy. Yeah,
easy for
that's the easy one for me. Outside of Trick and Bello, I would say Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne Perez because I think Roxanne has been killing it surprisingly, in my opinion, as a heel. I thought that she is just the most natural, likable underdog baby face. So to see her be AJ Lee reborn as a heel and like. I'm sorry, after Cora Jade tried to be AJ Lee, and fell short of like just Toxic Attraction light. It's great to see one of those young girls who just is a big AJ Lee fan who's been able to become AJ Lee as a heel. It's great.
yeah. Well, we got our first super chat from Luis. He
Thank
says,
you, Luis.
"I'll let you go ahead and read that
He
as
says,
my
sending
dog gets."
some love to y'all. Mark with Give Me Back My Bullets made me teary. And more Micah, please. Who doesn't like Micah? Come on. Micah is just a total beast. The queen of strong style, in my opinion.
Yeah. Whew,
Yeah,
yep.
and he said D'Angelo and Dragonoff will have a lot of people talking tomorrow. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we move on to the main event. Eddie Kingston, Briscoe. Hell of a match. I enjoyed it. I was. There was part of me where it's just like, okay, they were leaning into. At first, I thought Kingston was going to win. I really did. I'm like, I think going with Kingston, and then they just kept talking about like they kept on bringing up uh, the emotional toll, and I'm like, okay, they're going the opposite way. And then that's when I either way I was fine because I like both these guys. So
Yeah.
I knew this was a match where no matter what happened, we win in the long run. And Eddie Kingston, he was a good champion. He's been a great champion in my opinion. Uh, this was a fun match. It was a good match. It's a match that I know that I can go back and watch sometime. and I'll be happy to. That's one thing I like about Ring of Honor. Like this app is you can go back and watch some of these matches anytime you want, and this is going to be one that I know I'll go back to. What stood out like in this match for you?
What stood out the most for me was the crowd. How the crowd started off with very much split down the middle, because these are two of the most popular baby faces that have been in Ring of Honor over the past year, especially, and in general in wrestling. These are two of the most kind of likable and endearing baby faces in the game, with Mark Briscoe and his story with losing Jay, and how he's just been this gritty underdog on AEW television, feuding with House of Black now. Then you got Eddie Kingston, who was kind of the always the everyday man who always lost the big one in AEW until he stopped doing that last year and started winning some big matches for the NJPW Strong Championship, and then the Ring of Honor World Championship, and then winning the Continental Classic and becoming the Continental Crown Championship, the Triple Crown. So we saw that whole journey for Eddie, and it's great because last year at Supercard of Honor, I thought Supercard of Honor last year was overall a better show than tonight's show, but it had two big deflating moments. The two big deflating moments was Samoa Joe beating Mark Briscoe to retain the ROH TV title, and Claudio retaining against Eddie Kingston. You didn't give either one of those lovable baby faces the big win. So it was very appropriate to then see them back against each other. And the reason why I go over Eddie's history is because I tend to forget that Eddie Kingston could be one of the best heels in AEW or ROH, because once he saw the blood of Mark Briscoe, he turned into 2020 Eddie Kingston again. He was gouging at the wound. He was just trying to bludgeon him and chop him in the throat and stuff. You just saw the gritty, nasty, bitter Eddie Kingston. And that's when the crowd started to turn around. The crowd that started off right split down the middle with Eddie chants and Briscoe chants and man up chants and Kingston chants were straight up man up at that point. It was straight up man up because the crowd knew they had to get behind Mark to get him into it, which made me in turn at home watching the show, taking notes for the show for this podcast, had me screaming at my TV like, Mark, you gotta get up. You gotta get up. You gotta keep fighting. You gotta keep fighting. Jay's with you. Jay's there for the hot tag. You gotta get up. So I was rooting for Jay, and you could just feel the crowd energy. Just get up and get that energy back. The energy that I thought they were lacking in the Hikaru Shida and the Athena matchup. They brought it down the stretch here, and this was just incredibly intense. But most of all, this was the most emotional match I've seen all weekend. I saw a lot of wrestling already this weekend, but it's not gonna be until we see Cody in the main event of night 2 that we're gonna have as much emotion as we had in this match. It was just an incredible professional wrestling match, an incredible main event, and an incredible moment at the end with Mark bringing it all together, getting that last bit of energy, picking him up the double underhook, hitting the J Driller, 1, 2, 3, Mark Briscoe becoming the Ring of Honor World Champion. But like I said, I was sold on the finish being Mark Briscoe becoming the Ring of Honor World Championship champion. Once I heard "Give Me Back My Bullets," because I knew I had to hear "Give Me Back My Bullets" once again. Tony Khan, thank you for giving us "Give Me Back My Bullets" one more time.
Yeah. Well, guys, that is our show for tonight. Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. Want to say thank you for tuning in. Want to say thank you to SP3 for joining us for this special show. But don't worry, guys. Kate and Reg will probably be back next week for your regular scheduled Ring of Honor post show. So this was a lot of fun for me because I don't get to do post shows much, and I had a blast doing this. SP3, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me in St. Louis, Roland. Oh no, you can find me on on the Twitter machine
on April 21st at Dynasty. No.
on the April. No, you can find me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. I do most of my work over at the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. We got content every single day over there. I believe we were doing a watch along tonight for WrestleMania Friday. We'll be doing a watch along tomorrow for NXT Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania Night 1. We'll do a review of Night 1 on Sunday and a watch along for Night 2, and then a review of Night 2 on Monday. Yes, daily content, True Hill Heat YouTube channel. That is TRU, not no E there for True Hill Heat. So go over, check it out. Go over and subscribe. Always appreciate the love and always appreciate Rob inviting me to be on the Fightful YouTube channel and talk to all you folks. And last word on Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. Shout outs to Eddie Kingston. I thought he had a fabulous Ring of Honor world title run, but most of all, congratulations once again to Mark Briscoe for winning the Ring of Honor World Championship, and overall the entire roster, especially the ladies of Stardom and Ring of Honor, for really stealing the show on the night.
All right, guys, and you can follow me at Rob Wilkins on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram at FightfulRob and on Threads at FightfulRob every Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern. You can catch me on Fightful Overbooked for a show called Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. We have a good old time. We just talk a lot of nonsense and just pretty much try to just stay on Fightful, try not to get kicked off the show or kicked off Fightful for the most part, because Maggie causes us trouble, and if Maggie's not doing it, I'm doing it. So we're rated R. We're just not superstars, I guess. But we have a good old time. Today we did 4 different prediction shows, and just if you go based off my predictions, you're going to lose money. I'll tell you that much right now. But the only thing I want to say is SP3, thank you for joining me. Nobody from the Timberwolves got traded today, so that's a plus. And that's partly because the trade deadline's over.
Also that.
Yeah, but hey, I will say this: Rudy Gobert has made me feel better now. But I'm like, Rudy Gobert has made me feel better compared to that one damn day, though. That one day, I almost lost my damn mind. 4 number 1 draft picks, or round 1 draft picks. It was a choice at that time. I did not like it. We'll see. But guys, want to say thank you. Tomorrow, you can check us out. We have a lot going on. We'll have an NXT post show. I do not know who is hosting it, but I know Shawn is going to be back home hosting the post show for WrestleMania. So he will be doing a solo show for that. So you can definitely check that out. We're going to be covering everything all day tomorrow for WrestleMania and NXT Stand and Deliver. But want to say thank you for tuning in. We had a good old fashioned time. Man, I'm losing it. I'm tired. And
past 1.
Yeah. So peace out, everyone. Want to say again, thank you very much. We will see you very soon. Peace.
Peace out, A-Town down.